So on this one, I want to just kind of go into general topics that I like to speak about, and these are mostly just how to focus your mind away from all of the BS in the world, how to focus your mind away from all of the hubbub inside of the world. Basically what I mean by that is that the reason why people are so upset and they see this world as being so evil or terrible or whatever they think of it as, the reason why is because they don't know what to put their attention onto. They've gotten so stuck at looking at all of the negative things in life that they just they miss the point. They miss the underlying thing. It's so simple that the mind doesn't want to grasp onto it because it can't. It's something that the mind, like you can have all of the understanding in the world but still be miserable. No, I wouldn't say that, because then once you have all the understanding in the world, then you would understand that your miserability or whatever, your miserableness is created by you. So point being, like, what I mean though is that you can go external from yourself and you can try to learn as much as you want and still not get the point. And this is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. So what knowledge is an understanding of something based on a mind understanding. Meaning you can create a concept in your mind and then understand it in a way that you may be able to articulate it to other people, but it may not have been a direct experience of yours. It may be something that you understand through other interpretations and connections that you've made in your life. And wisdom is an innate knowing. It's like what you get when you stop thinking about things, because the thoughts of the things are what is clouding you from being able to experience the true thing. One of the reasons why people discriminate or they separate people is because they see aspects inside of people and then they judge those aspects, or they make some sort of a conclusion in their mind, where when they experience this aspect inside of another person, they automatically shut down their desire to love because of whatever the mind tells them. So what we're talking about here is to be able to go past all of those kind of explanations that your mind gives you. And then also, I'm going to make a video also very quick or after this on empathy too, because I want to talk about how, I'm sorry I get distracted, but this just came into my mind. But I want to talk about, I'll just go ahead and talk about it now, actually. So basically, this was meant to be a random video anyways. These are all just kind of snippets that I put out there, and if you want to pick them up, then you can. But anyways, so empathy, what happens is that all these thoughts and feelings that other people are having are all projected outwards by them. When they experience thoughts and emotions and feelings, they project them into their external world and create their world through that. So when you are, say, speaking to another person or around another person or around a crowd of people, then there's this kind of bubble that is created by their consciousness, where all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that they're thinking or feeling, or any of the things that they're experiencing in their physical body or any of that stuff, all that stuff is kind of just floating around for people to pick up. And if people are in a space or a vibration which is resonant with that, and what I mean by resonant is if they're in a vibration which is of the same frequency or of the same understandings, or if they're seeing the world in a way that is very similar or the same as the other person, then they start to pick up the thoughts of the other person. And most people have this happen unconsciously, but when you become conscious of it, you have the ability. This is connected. Okay, so when you become conscious sorry, I just realized that when you become conscious of it, you have the ability to be able to discern what it is that you choose to pick up as yours and what it is that you choose to not really hold as being yours. So say somebody doesn't identify as being a sad person. When the experience of a thought that by another person is represented as sadness, when it comes through you, since you don't identify as being a sad person, what happens is that you pick up that thought and then it just flows straight through you because it's not resonant with your belief systems. The only reason that thoughts really stick to you or have any sort of traction is because your belief systems are in some way connected to that thought or feeling. So when you're experiencing depression or anxiety or any of that stuff, then what it is almost like you're picking up, and this is amplifying it also. So your mind is already thinking specific things. But then when you come around other people, you start to pick up all their mind activity. And say that you're completely empty in your mind, right? And you're speaking to somebody who has a very full mind. What happens is that when you start speaking to them, you will start to experience the same things that they're experiencing. So when they start speaking to you, you start having, say, lusty thoughts, or you start having feelings of feelings of like anxiety, or feelings of self-deprecation, or any of these thoughts that start to flow through you. And the way that you don't have those stick to you, and the way that you don't become anxious around the other people, is you recognize that those are their thoughts and their feelings that they are projecting. Even if somebody is getting uncomfortable while you're in a conversation with them, that is still their feelings that they are projecting outwards, and you're not the cause of it. All you're doing is just triggering these specific feelings inside of them. And so what I mean by this is that you don't have to identify with the person who is shifting other people's experiences and things like this through your uncomfortability, because you're not the one who is experiencing, you're not the one. First of all, I know that I'm speaking on many different levels, but you're not the one who's experiencing the uncomfortability. It's the ego who's experiencing the uncomfortability, and it's desire to grasp onto that uncomfortability, which is just perpetuating it. Like if you were to allow that thought of uncomfortability to flow through you and then just not think anything of it and continue the conversation as if nothing had ever happened, then all of a sudden the other person becomes very, very calm and peaceful around you. Because what happens is that you kind of just, you act as a filtering system almost. Like when those thoughts and feelings flow through you, then all of a sudden you just let it go, and then you redirect your attention to love. And then you look at them with love, and then they feel that love. And then another thought comes through them, and then it comes through you, and then you redirect your attention to love. So basically what you do is you use your ability to meditate and to experience love to be able to shift the person that you're speaking to, or the group of people or whatever, into the same vibration that you're in. What happens is, and this is another way to kind of describe it, I have two hands kind of going on right now, but basically like one person's here and the other person is here. So one person has to come here, the other person has to come here in order for them to meet in a conversation, in vibration. So if you're like way up here, then all of a sudden when you come around people, in order for them to rise way up here, all of their insecurities, all of their anger and all that crap has to come out somehow. So when you sit there and continuously sit in love with them, and you just keep trying to love them, meaning like you keep just sending them the most beautiful love as you possibly can, what happens is those things come up, and then they experience that for a second, but then they see that you're just projecting more and more love, and then they recognize that those feelings and thoughts that they were experiencing were just false, and then they move on to the next one. And then once you move through all those different thoughts and feelings, all of a sudden both of you are just sitting there, and then you see each other for the first time. And then when you see each other, then the real emotions start to come out, meaning like they start to feel the love that you're sitting in, or say, you see what I mean? So it's like the deeper that you're able to put yourself into a state of love, the more that everybody else kind of resonates with that love that you feel, rather than all the other insecurities and anxieties that you project. And then the deeper that you sit into the love, the quicker that the situations around you will start to project, or will start to reflect the love that you're experiencing inside of yourself. And it may take a minute before it starts to like really reflect really quickly, because it takes a second to kind of like sit or simmer your vibration, or just like kind of like settle your vibration into the state of being in love all the time. But once you are, then you'll notice that when you walk into places, then your presence and your energy will shift the vibration of that place so much that negative things don't happen to you. First of all, because you don't interpret anything as being negative, meaning like when you experience a thing, you recognize that all things are being created by you for your best interest, and that all this stuff is happening just because you want it to. So like, and it's all perpetual, so it's going to keep happening. So it's like, you might as well learn to enjoy the happenings no matter what they are, and then see that like it's your decision to choose to sit in love no matter what's happening. It's your decision. And what I mean by that is that you have to take the kind of initiative to decide to not feel negative emotions anymore. And then when you do that, all of a sudden you start to see that there were positive emotions, or positivity. There was positivity in everything that you were experiencing. You just had your attention on the negativity. That's all, literally.